On this episode of Slightly Average Guys, we find out how Andy became best friends with Bret Michaels off of a single plane ride. You're not going to want to miss this.
Can you guys, can everybody see us? Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to your Slightly Average Guys podcast. I was just joshing around with you, having a little fun before we get chatting here. Welcome back to your Slightly Average Guys podcast. Once again, we have Andy Nassif over there in the Steelers hat. We got Ryan Cole looking all fancy in the blue and the collared shirt. And then you got myself, Ryan Teeter, over here repping a Purdue hoodie. I don't even know if you can see that. Yes, you can. Because Purdue's my alma mater, and it's cool, and I like it. There's one thing that I want to mention before we get started into here. If you can catch it throughout this whole thing, there's one thing that's different within this podcast. Could be our voices, could be the backgrounds, could be what we're wearing, could be anything.
Yeah, I'll let you know, it is not the layout of Ryan still being in the middle from the last podcast.
It could be the background of it could be anything. So if you can catch it, again, we have one thing that has changed with our podcast this week. Let's see if you can comment and catch it. Let's get started.
Okay, does anybody really think there's anything different? I mean, at all?
Okay. All right. So let's
that was
get
a good
into
one,
it.
actually. I like it.
We don't want to leave the people waiting any longer. Everybody for a whole week has been sitting on the edge of their seats in order to find out the answers to last week of Andy leaving us on the edge of his seat about how he became Bret Michaels' best friend, and not the other way around. It's truly Andy Nassif became Bret Michaels' best friend, and we need to know how you did that on an airplane, and it had nothing to do with the Mile High Club.
Well, and before you get started, I think if it was the other way around, like Andy Nassif became Bret Michaels' best friend, that's probably just stalking at that point. That's just creepy.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm saying it's completely different. When you hear the story, you'll understand it's true.
Yeah, all right, I want to hear this. I'm interested.
Okay, so I have to set up a little bit of it because it's important. So I worked for a Massage Envy, and I was traveling, and I was in Chicago, and I was coming back to Arizona one afternoon. I don't even know what time of year it was. It might have been spring. We'll just call it, we'll say spring. So, side note to the story, prior to this plane ride, I got on the wrong airplane to come home from different states and cities, probably like 3 times. Now you're probably wondering, how is it that you could possibly get on the wrong airplane and nobody would know? And it happens. So I got on the wrong airplane a few times. One time was in Seattle that I remember. I don't remember the other times. But nobody catches it until you're in someone's seat or you're trying to go to your seat, and then you look at your ticket. The lady that scans your boarding pass doesn't know.
They don't care?
It's concerning. I don't know.
They should be able to scan your ticket and be like, yo, dude, you're like 3 hours early.
Right? I don't know.
That's what I was. Anyways, sorry.
Yeah. So I had gotten on the wrong plane a few times. So at this point, I get on, and because I traveled so much, I was always upgraded to first class. So in this particular flight home, I was upgraded, and I was the first person on the plane. Like I was A1. Like I was it, right? And I always do window, and so this was a U.S. Air's airway flight. So I was like 3rd row window seat. Okay. So I get on the airplane, I'm pumped, I'm ready to come home. It's been a long, like 10 days or whatever I was there. And I get on the airplane and I come around the corner, and the flight team, hey, how's it going? First one on. I said, yeah. I come around the corner and I take a right and I see somebody in my seat. I'm like, did I get on the wrong plane again? Like that was my first thing, right? I'm like, dang it. So I'm looking
again?
at my phone.
So this has happened before.
Oh yeah. This
I get on wrong planes all the time.
What I do. So I just go to the airport. I'm like, I'm just gonna get on this flight. So I'm looking at my thing, and I'm like walking. That's me. Am I on the right flight? Like I don't know. I'm looking around like there's gonna be some sort of an indicator in the airplane. Like, am I in the right or wrong flight? So I get closer, and I'm like, you've gotta be shitting me, was my initial response. It's Bret Michaels. And so he's in my seat. And so I get down the aisle and I walk in to the aisle seat, and I was like, I have my thing, and I'm like, man, Get on the airplane, first person, excited to get on, go home, and Bret Michaels is sitting in my seat. And I say this to him. Okay.
Yo, bitch, like, get out of my seat. Who the fuck do you think you are?
Fuck, Rock of Love, get out of here. So I say
Could
that.
you imagine somebody that didn't like know who that was just being like, dude, like, come on, man, that's my seat.
Right? So I say that to him, and he's like, "Oh man," he's like, "I'm so sorry." He's like, "Do you want to? I'll move." He's like, I got on, I didn't even think about it, and I'm just like, should I be an asshole? Is it really that big of a deal? Like, whatever. So I'm like, it's cool, dude. Don't worry about it. I'm just giving you a hard time. He's like, okay, thanks. He's like, hey, I'm Bret. I go, no shit. I'm Andy. So he laughs, and I instantly start texting everybody at my at Massage Envy, right? And in one person in particular, I start texting. Her name is Jamie Wana, and some of you that are watching know who she is. Was like in love with this man. Like this was her like crush, right? And there were a couple other women that we worked with that loved Bret Michaels. So I text him, or I text her, I emailed her, and I'm like, you're never going to believe who I'm sitting next to, right? So I text her that, and she's like, you're a liar. This is the first thing that comes back. So then I text somebody else. I've got like a 5 or 6 person text string going to different people in the office, to my buddies, I think even to Michelle, my wife. So everyone's like, yeah, right. You're such a liar. Of all the people to make up, it's Bret Michaels, and we're hanging on the airplane. So everybody's like, send me proof. And now, mind you, people are boarding, right? And so this is a good 10 minutes into the boarding process. We're almost done. And, we're sitting there, and I'm just kind of like sitting there like this, texting, and I'm laughing. And, he's kind of saying some stuff to me, whatever. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, it's Bret Michaels. Like people that know are like, oh, Bret Michaels. So now I'm in this bubble with Bret Michaels. Okay. I like their music. Yeah, it's pretty much it. That's where I draw.
And where are you sitting in comparison?
We were right next to each other. So
okay.
First class seats. He's in the window. I'm in the aisle.
Okay.
So everybody's like, oh my gosh, you got to send me proof. And like, you're a liar. So I'm like, all right. So I was like, hey man, I told everybody at my job that I'm sitting next to you. I was like, can I just get your picture to like prove to them? And he's like, you know what? He's like, yes, but how about when we land? No problem. So good to go. He's got all kinds of shit with him, like all these bags and like whatever. So at this point, boarding's pretty much done. All right, we're gonna go. So get pushed back and we start taking off. And at this point, I'm just like, I gotta like talk to the guy. I can't just sit next to Bret Michaels and like not hang out with him for a little bit. So he goes, do you live in Arizona? And I said, I do actually. I said, how about you? And so we just started chatting, just like anytime you've ever chatted up somebody on an airplane, just like where you going, where you coming from, all this stuff. So we're chatting. Now, the plane ride's about what? I don't know, like 3 hours, 3.5 hours. Coming from Chicago, it might be a little less or a little more, somewhere around there. We'll say like 3 to 4 hours. So we're coming back, and there wasn't like conversation the entire time, but for the most part, we talked. But at one point, there was probably a good 30 minutes where people came up to him and were asking for his autograph. And he was very nice, very, very like humble guy. He was, didn't take any photos while we were on the plane, of course, but he signed some autographs. Well, somebody had an Us Weekly magazine, and he was on the cover of it.
No way. They just like carry that around with him just in case.
I don't know. But it was like a recent magazine or an addition to that. I don't know. So the funniest thing though, I look at it and I'm like, this what's got the same outfit on as he has in the magazine. Like, what are you doing? Like, come on, dude. Like your bedazzled jeans and your scarves and all your nonsense and your hat. So I'm just like, whatever, right? So I laugh, and just in my mind, I'm like, I can't believe this is happening. So like we're just chatting about random stuff. And I was like, listen, I love your show. I'm not going to lie. Now, at this point in time, Rock of Love was a thing. And if you've never seen it, it's just essentially all these women that are nuts that love Bret Michaels and that'll essentially fight each other over trying to spend time with him. Like it was great television. So I said to him, I'm like, I'm not going to lie. I think your show's fantastic. And I'm a regular viewer of it. In fact, I would like to offer any sort of service that I might be able to provide to you in the event that I should be some sort of like security to prevent these women from fighting each other because I think that it's ridiculous and I would just like to offer my services to you if you ever need extra security on the show.
Oh my God.
Gorgeous women from fighting each other over you. And he's dying laughing, right? And he goes, man, he's like, I'm just a kid from Pennsylvania. And he's like, I just followed my dream and all that stuff. I'm like,
Bret Michaels, don't give me that shit.
Yeah, I was like, bro,
you just had like 15 people come up and ask for your autograph.
Yeah, I was like, listen, first off, don't give me that shit. Secondly, I want to know like what goes on that we don't see. Because I know that there's some craziness that's happening there, and we're just kind of goofing, giving him shit about that. So he tells me he lives in Scottsdale and he's like coming back for something with his daughters. He had 2 daughters. I think he lived in like DC Ranch or something like that, right? So we're getting closer to home and there might be like an hour left. He goes, hey, he's like, let me ask you a question. He goes, we're having a concert coming up. He's like, would you be interested in going? And I go, Bret, I gotta be honest with you, okay? It depends. And he goes, okay, he kind of laughs. He goes, okay, well, why? And I said, listen, I'm a fan of Poison all day long from like circa 1982 to 1989. And that's pretty much it, fella. If you're going to invite me to a concert from Poison where you guys are going to reinvent yourself and like do this whole new thing and new music and a new album, I don't want to go to that. I like what I like. That was you guys rocked out,
And he's thinking like, who the fuck talks to me like that? Like who's that open
like,
and honest, right?
So he's dying laughing, right? He's just chuckling. And I think it's like genuine laughter because you're right. I think he was just like, I can't believe this fucking guy's telling me this. So I told him, I'm like, I'm all in if it's old school Poison and you're going to play the classics and, all that stuff. Rattled off some of the songs. And he's like, no, he's like, it's all the old stuff. He's like, we got some new stuff. And I said, all right, I'd be in for that. Definitely. He's like, okay. So he's like, let me get your name. And I'm like, okay. So he writes down my name and my first and last name on like, I don't know, like our boarding ticket or whatever. Again, we're just chatting. So we land and we're doing whatever. And he goes, okay, I don't think we made it to the gate yet, but we were like taxiing. And so he goes, he's like, hey, Nancy, like he knew the flight attendant's name. He's like, come here. And so she comes over, nice lady. And she's like, he goes, will you take a picture with us? And I'm like, fuck, I don't want to be in the picture with this guy. I'm not interested in taking a photo with Bret Michaels. I just want people to know that I sat next to Bret Michaels. I can like validate this story.
Oh my God.
I actually showed it to some of the people at my job recently. I have it somewhere. I found it just randomly going through like old jump drives and whatnot. So
you ended up taking a picture with him.
Yeah. So by this time, that 4-hour plane ride, everybody knows about it, right? Everybody's like, Andy's next to Bret Michaels. Now I haven't
everybody at work. Yeah.
Everybody at my job. Andy's sat next to Bret Michaels. And I haven't proven that I have this. So as soon as I get the photo, now we had those old like Motorola BlackBerry phones, right? So it was this giant thing and the lady takes a photo. And so I email it to one person, again, Jamie. It's everywhere. Like it was, I might as well have posted it on like TMZ and like it's just everywhere inside of Massage Envy. So at this point, I'm getting texts and calls and all this stuff. So we get to the gate, and again, he takes my information, and I said, hey man, this was fun. I'm glad you were cool about stuff, and I was giving you a hard time or whatever. He goes, no, I appreciate it, and whatever. I don't even know at this point. But we leave, right? We get off the airplane, and I'm on the phone because everybody's calling me at this point. And they're like, oh my God, I can't believe this. What was he like? All this stuff. So I think I called my wife or my butt. I don't even know who, but I was like, you're never going to believe who I sat next to. I'm like, who? Maybe it was somebody I didn't even tell them. I was like, fucking Bret Michaels. And they're like, who? And I go, Bret Michaels, Poison. And they're like, no way. So I'm walking to baggage claim, right? And we're at Sky Harbor, and I'm in the middle, excuse me, of the 2 motorized walkways, right? One's going the direction I'm going, the other one. He's on the motorized walkway, but he's behind me, and he's unzipping my backpack and like fucking with me. Like he's literally just messing around with me, right?
What?
I had no idea this was going on. And so he's like messing with my bag and like doing all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm on the phone and I'm like, I can't believe it, telling somebody, and I'm like, what? Sure, I'm like, damn it, Bret Michaels, did we just become best friends? And he starts laughing and he's walking off, right? We goes down the escalator, and I'm just like, whoever's on the phone with was like, what happened? And I told them, I was like, apparently we're best friends with Bret Michaels. So that was like a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Then my next day at work, everybody's like, so what's he like? Tell me about Bret Michaels. Like, what's this? Telling everybody, he's like, he's just a dude, right? So somebody goes, well, wait, you're going to the concert, right? And I was like, absolutely not. I'm not going to the concert, because it was like in a couple weeks. And everybody was mad that I wasn't going to go. And I said, listen, two things are going to happen. I'm going to show up to, it was at, I don't even know what it's called now, but it was Cricket. Like it's on the west side, Cricket Pavilion. It's on the west side.
It's Auction Pavilion now.
Okay, there you go. So it's like half under, and then everything else is outside. Like it's all an outside forum and venue, but then the seats are covered, but then there's all this grass. For those of you that need a visual, like,
thanks for the visual.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm gonna show up, and I'm gonna go to the ticket counter, and I'm gonna be like, you got a ticket for me? My name's Andy Nassif. We're best friends with Bret Michaels. And they're gonna be like, okay, wacko, get out of here, go stand in line and go get a ticket with everybody else. Or the other logical explanation of what would happen is we're literally best friends. And I'm like, I don't want to either of those. I don't want to do either of those things. I don't want to go and show up and like, listen, it could have been the best time of my life. He could have invited me backstage. Like we legitimately could have maybe had like some, I don't want to say friendship, but like it could have just been a fun time, right? Because we sat next to each other, and like I was just, I didn't treat him like he was this cool dude, coolest guy ever. So I never went. There's a part of me to this that I kind of wish I would have, because what if, right? Even if we never spoke to each other after that, what if it really would have been a cool thing, and like just to be backstage or whatever? Because I don't even know who they were with at that point. Like,
let me just say, free concert.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like, how did you say no to that?
You probably got an extra ticket too.
Yeah, probably. And so at this point of not going, I felt like those of you that have seen Talladega Nights, where every time Ricky Bobby has a race and he leaves one ticket for his dad, and the people at the box office feel so bad because he never shows up. So I felt like Bret Michaels felt so bad that I never showed up. And that ruined our moment to ever be friends. And I feel
Bret
like
Michaels.
he probably told people, man, I met this cool guy on an airplane, and like we became best friends, and then I invited him and he fucking never showed. Like, screw that guy,
Andy says, like, I met this average guy. You know what? I didn't even really want my photo taken with him. I should have denied him. Like, no, bro. This photo's not for me. I don't want your photo taken.
Yeah, exactly.
So everybody needs to share this episode online on social media and tag Bret Michaels in it. That way, maybe they can reconnect and become longtime best friends because they've lost each other.
That would be super freaking interesting. Andy, if he would even remotely like remember, he has to, dude. How many people's backpacks does he mess around with in the airport?
Who knows? Right, like, you know what I should have done? Or even to this day, I should go on like Craigslist and go to Misconnections and just tell my whole story and be like, Bret Michaels. Somebody would read that shit and be like, this is the greatest thing ever. Because back in the day, like, those were super fun to read and kind of creepy. But, you're just like, this is where you're going to find a misconnection. But yeah, I never went. I always regretted not going, purely because, like you said, it was a free concert. But listen, I had no expectations of like becoming best friends with this man. But it was such a random occurrence and encounter where I was just like giving him shit the whole time. And then for him to be unzipping my backpack, I'm like, we just became best friends. So,
and you straight up said that, like, as you turned around, did we just become best friends?
Just become best friends, Bret Michaels. Dang it. And he's laughing. And then we get down to like where the baggage claim is. And like, he trailed off to some secret celebrity side entrance or whatever. And like, that was it. So, but yeah, like everybody knew about it. Not only the people I worked with, but other people in the Massage Envy network at some of the locations knew about it too. I got emails from like managers, like, I can't believe you met Bret Michaels. I don't even know who you are, and you're emailing me telling me that you can't believe I met Bret Michaels. So
can you get me on the show?
Yeah, it was nuts. So that's my
hilarious
story with meeting Bret Michaels and becoming best friends for about 3 or 4 hours.
And you never even got to be a bouncer.
No, right? What a jerk.
I want to push hot girls away from him. No, guys, stop it. No, you stop it. No, you stop it. Oh, guys, come on, stop it, please.
Right?
Oh shit, that's funny. All right, well, first off, you're gonna definitely have to find the photo, so that way you can share it. Just because that's the only thing to corroborate the story, collaborate, the story, to make sure that we can show to all of our viewers that hey, it's definitely true. Second, we asked at the top of the show if anybody knew of what would be different. First off, we have Video Raj says above Andy's head, it looks like a testicle sack. Okay.
Oh my
Right there, when
gosh.
Andy's head's in the way of the bottom part of it, it technically looks like a testicle sack. No, that's not it. That was there last week. Another one from C. Cole was Brian's Christmas tree is gone, which technically is right, but that is not what we are pointing out.
Yeah.
And then
We did an episode last week too. I don't think my Christmas tree was there either.
Oh, see, I thought it was. I thought it still was, but it might not have been. Anyway, and then the Lollipop Gill chimed in and said glasses, and she would be correct. So definitely loving it up that she actually noticed that quick, and appreciate everybody's very keen eye. I also feel like maybe we should have ended with the story because that we started off on a high note. We can't go anywhere but down. Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought too. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's talk about something weird that's usually off topic for us, but I don't want to get too deep into it, but just the difference between DC versus Marvel and your thoughts. I know you two guys will probably have more of a influence here than I will, but let's have Andy go first. Which one's your favorite and why? You're muted.
Yeah, for some reason, man, you're.
No, I did that on purpose. I'm just okay. So growing up, I was always Batman, like DC all day long. But once Marvel movies came out, there's a whole different world. So I'll still be a Batman all day long, but the development and like even like the X-Men and all that, like those are great. But the way that Marvel was like presented to people was out of this world. All of it, from Spider-Man to obviously the Avengers and all of that. Like it's just a whole nother world that can't help but not want to be on that side. So it's tough. But I always started with DC and Batman and X-Men and that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. That's what literally brings you in as a kid.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, like everybody in the world has heard of Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody. And Superman really they bring you in as kids because they're amazing characters to talk about and like superheroes and stuff like that. Like once you get into the Hulk and he's just all about like destruction and smashing things, Hulk smash. Then like it's a little bit different, but I would definitely say DC is 100% more kid friendly.
Yeah.
And they did a great job bringing in the younger audience. Like I used to watch Batman with my dad every Saturday morning, and it was amazing. But then as we grew, and at that point, I didn't really know much about Marvel, to be honest, like when I was a kid. It's once those movies came out, they really stepped up their game. Yeah. Like you have a ton of X-Men movies, a ton of Avengers movies. And I just realized this Deadpool is on there as well now. So Deadpool are these hot new movies as well. You got Guardians of the Galaxy, which are just amazing. They're all super well done. I've seen Aquaman. I've seen a couple Superman movies. I haven't seen Batman versus Superman, but it all just seems kind of like meh. And I don't feel like they do a great job of growing on their stuff. They're just like, yeah, we're kind of comfortable with what we're doing. Whereas every 2 weeks, the Avengers movies are coming out.
And DC just keeps remaking the same exact movie with the same exact plot line, minus Batman, because Batman was the only thing that they actually started to make its own from the last one, which that was like 10 years ago now at this point with Dark Knight and things, to where it had the a semblance of what used to be, that plot line and that storyline with the Joker and the same characters, but like told in such a different way that was awesome. And that's like also what helped launch Marvel, just because that one set of movies was just so awesome that like it really got everybody back interested in it. But they failed at almost every other one to try to create it and tie it together. And that's true. And for those that don't know, like Spider-Man, it's an independent property that's jumped between DC and Marvel. Right now it's back in the DC or in the Marvel sphere, which is why they're in the Avengers. But prior to the movies, it wasn't.
Yeah, and I think that Marvel showed that however they created those stories and taking from the comics, but then, immersing people into it, DC was like, oh, well, everybody's on the superhero bandwagon. Like, let's just give everybody a movie. And Aquaman was terrible. I thought that was horrid. And even the Batman and the evolution of Batman and like the different takes on Batman, and I liked all the Dark Knight stuff. I thought that was great. But then when you introduce new people that play those, and I think that was part of it too, is because it's always like, well, somebody else is going to play Batman now, right? So some of the new stuff that's coming out, there's a whole nother guy that's going to be Batman. And I think they're going to even bring back, a couple of these dudes to be Batman at the same time. Like, it doesn't make sense.
And not only Batman, they have different Jokers too. I mean, look at the Suicide Squad, where they have some and they look different. They sound different. They act different. They're totally different characters every single time. They're not consistent.
Yeah, and I think we all can agree the Heath Ledger one was still hands down a freaking like masterpiece of playing a character.
But I think I agree, and I think that the Suicide Squad was probably one of the better movies.
Mm-hmm. I love that movie. The soundtrack alone is just phenomenal.
It actually had a decent storyline, and that's what we're kind of all getting at. Is it was something that was original that didn't just have the same quirks that all the other ones did.
That, and maybe because there were too many people to really focus on one guy and like really point out like this story's just dumb, right? Like the Batman or the Superman stuff and like his origin and where he came from and like all that was kind of like, okay.
Yeah, what's the DC version of the Avengers? I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the name of it. Justice League. Yeah, that movie was ridiculous because it was like they recorded like 8 different individual short clips and then of each person of each superhero, and then just decided to stitch them together. Like it was like it didn't make sense. It was literally like 8 different short stories.
Guys, they were working through COVID and they had to record from their webinars from home, just wearing their costumes. Like, come on.
I think us doing it through a Zoom call could have been better.
Yeah,
and McHeather the Grinder real quick is asking where your dino is.
Listen, I don't want to say some sort of cataclysmic event happened and knocked everybody out, but there's some evolution happening.
Oh,
side you're on. Okay.
I thought there was a team of people that started to riot outside and came in, stole your podium.
Is there a meteorite coming?
So, random story. I'll tell you the story about that afterwards. Last thing I want to say about the Marvel DC. I thought Wonder Woman #1 was great. I thought that was a great movie. Like,
agreed.
Whatever it did to change, the second one was awful. I did not like that at all. I tried to watch it over like 3 periods of time. I just couldn't. I couldn't.
Is that the 1984 one?
Yeah.
I just don't like it.
Yeah, like for some reason I was thinking that was the third, but yes, I would agree. Like, I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was terrible. Yeah. I thought it was okay, and it kept me, interested, but didn't like. Again, that's what they always do, though. They have some property that like decently makes like, okay, I have a feeling like this is gonna come back. It's like, nope, they're gonna destroy it. Versus. Freaking Avengers is about to go into, or Marvel's about to go into phase 4 of their universe, which is a multiverse, which has all this different stuff, and with Vision and what's
Wanda.
Her name? Wanda, yeah, that's called WandaVision. That's going to be a TV show that's getting released to bridge the gap between the last movie and the
Wanda
newest.
and Cosmo.
No, I don't even know that reference.
No, oh my gosh. I can't even think of the name. I'm gonna search it real quick. It was a cartoon.
Say something to wait, Wanda and Cosmo. That was like, I feel like that's
the Fairly Odd Parents. Yes.
Okay. Oh, so you did get it. I still don't get it, but okay.
I love that. Oh.
Yeah, that must be how we feel when we're like, Billy Madison or
and you're just like, huh? What?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Jumping to the next one. I'm going to throw it in here. Ryan's rant. You got a good one this week because it's relevant to information that's coming out. So go ahead and rant away.
I mean, yeah, it's relevant to a lot of people. And it's just kind of frustrating because throughout, okay, COVID started, a lot of people are trying to help us out, right? For example, loans, and this all kind of is relative towards loans. So and people who have loans, you'll definitely understand for the most part. They paused all interest. They paused all payments for loans. You don't have to pay.
Let's clarify student loans because
student loans.
I still had to pay my mortgage.
Yeah, sorry. Student loans. One, they paused all payments, and I'm still paused until the end of January so far. There's talks about extending it, but that's besides the point. Two, they paused the interest on it as well. So that whole combination is just like you're free for like 9 months to just not pay off your student loans. Either just build up that money or pay them off. And I've been at that point where I'm paying them off quite considerably, like a lot. And I'm at the point now where I'm just about to drop, not a big deal to me, like boom, like $8,000, be done with this stuff. You know what I mean? And I'm at that. I want to do that now, but there's this new thing that like is in the talks everywhere about Biden. It was like potentially doing and canceling up, literally canceling. You got above $50,000 in debt, you could potentially have all of, below $50,000, all of that canceled. Now it's dropped down to like 10,000 and that's totally fine, like whatever. But I'm like, when is that happening? Do that now. And I'm just like stuck in this hard point. Like I could pay it off now and just call it a day, but why spend $8,000 if I can have Biden pay it off for me?
Yeah. So you just want to know details and a date. If you're not going to do it, that's fine. If you're going to do it, when is the potential date that you will have an answer?
Yeah, and don't fucking play games with me. If you're thinking about doing this, then when you actually do this, extend my non-interest and my non-payments until you make a decision. Don't play games with me and be like, oh, well, now you have to pay interest for another month and a half before we figure this out.
Well, all that money went to Ethiopia for a gender reveal party. So, sorry,
Just stop playing games with me. Just figure it out as soon as possible. Because one, I don't want to have to drop, $8,000. I'd rather just have you pay for it.
All right.
Thank you.
What was that, Andy?
So where's my money, bitch?
Where's my money, Brian? Where's my money? Where's my coin purse? Okay. Okay, I want to do one, and I want to try to keep this one quick, guys, but this one could be deep, and I know Andy loves a good conspiracy theory, and he's actually the one that brought up this topic, and I actually liked it, because I was calling bullshit on it early, and then I realized, wait, no, I think not. So, here's the topic. Why don't you ever see rocket ships docking with the International Space Station? Okay, and I do not mean the last SpaceX one that just docked, because that was the very first one. Yeah. If you don't believe us, go on YouTube, go search the internet. You can't find a single video of any freaking rocket ship or shuttle pod or anything docking with the freaking space station before that.
Yeah. So obviously this is mine. It's weird, right? And when you watch the one that exists, you see like different angles, right? So you see the guys in the craft, and then it coming a view from the space station as it's coming to it, right? And maybe part of it is because the vast nothingness that's out there, and I don't know, like who knows? But it's just really odd that this was the first time that you got to see something like that, which surprised me that SpaceX was allowed to show it, but NASA never did. And in all the years that we've been doing this, or that they've been telling people like, oh, we're sending people up there, there's no video. Now you see spacewalks, right? And you see these other things, and we see the rocket leave, but we never see where it goes and how it gets there. And like, we never see the astronauts that once they've docked come into the space station from their craft. Like, we don't see that, right? So the fact that we got to see a little glimpse of it is very interesting, but I don't know why we don't see any other parts of it. Like, and maybe there's some sort of, people could like pause it and steal traits. Like, who knows? But we just don't see any of that.
So all I did was type into Google, and I typed into Google shuttle docking with ISS.
Yeah.
And it kind of auto-populated because I was going to type in International Space Station, right? But it just auto-populated ISS. And the very first video that I click on, and it's interesting, and I've just watched the first video, it gets like within, I don't know, it's hard to tell because it's a video, but it gets us within like 3 to 4 feet of it, and it's slowly coming in. You can see that it's slowly getting there. But then all of a sudden they turn to like a wing of the ISS and they're like, check out this view. Yeah. And I'm like, what is that? No, what does that have to do with anything? Like, I want to see this shit come together. And then all of a sudden they zoom back into the shuttle and it's already there.
Yeah. So
that is very interesting.
It's really strange, right? And even if you watch, there's other like live NASA feeds that you can watch that exist, and sometimes they'll shut them off when weird stuff shows up, right? Like, listen, who knows what's out there? It could be something super cool, or it could be space rocks. Like, who knows? We'll never know. But when weird stuff happens, right, they shut the feed off. And if you believe in some of that stuff of like, oh, it's fake, or it's it's soundstage or whatnot, like believe whatever you want. But the fact is, like, there's just nothing that shows us this guy got in, left, went to that thing up there, got out, and now we saw him or see him. So I just think that that's really strange. In fact, once you get into stuff like this, and I love this particular part of it, you get down this insane rabbit hole of conspiracy theory. Like, we're talking like Matrix, blue pill, red pill type of stuff that there's videos that you'll ultimately find that'll even tell you that the Challenger space shuttle crew never got into the space shuttle and that they all exist, and they'll prove, and the video goes on to prove every single, I think 9 of them, where they are currently in their lives and all of that. So, that's
dear Lord.
Yeah, that's a little fringe stuff, but really,
Andy lost himself in conspiracy theories for a few weeks.
But listen, I love it because it's just interesting, and I just like the fact of like, right? I just want to take on another point of view and like understand that. But really though, there's just nothing that shows, like I said, from point A to point B, and how did he get there, like, and what happened.
And I understand for like, I don't even know if it's safety protocols, right? But there's some things that you're just like, we don't like, a malfunction's going on. You're not going to be like, hey, United States of X amount of billion people, come check out these people about to die.
Well, yeah, like I get it that like, they're going to what they probably did was change the camera view just in case something catastrophic happened. They didn't want it to be on the live television feed. Makes sense. However, they also have the raw live footage because it's still all streaming down for them to switch it, so why didn't you just like release that piece,
Yeah, and just to clarify, because I think this is what you're saying, like, they're always recording it from somewhere. Mm-hmm. So you have the footage. So even if you turn away, at least post it later for other people to see. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, I'm saying like wouldn't like, shouldn't you would think that would be an educational video or something somewhere on the web, right?
I mean, we all collaborate anyways. We freaking just went to Russia to go launch some stuff in there. We do multiple launches here within the States. I guarantee you China is doing their stuff and we're collaborating with them as well. Like, we're all on the same page as far as space exploration. What's the big deal?
All right.
But are we? And if we're not, why? And maybe we'll never know that. But what is it that we don't know for why we wouldn't be more collaborative and be on the same page? So who knows?
The truth is, how has there not been more space catastrophes? Like, I'm talking like actually up there. I'm not talking like the Challenger blowing up on the way up there, but like, if anybody's seen the movie Gravity, I'm like, oh, this seems like a realistic scenario that could happen. Something dies, and before it can fall to Earth, it collapses with something, collides with another piece, which collides with more stuff, which just makes, everything go like total shit show. I'm like, well, this seems like a legit thing that actually should be happening every single second.
And maybe if we've done a little bit more research, because I honestly haven't, but I just, again, typed into Google, when did the ISS go to space? When did the first piece get there? November of 1999
Mhm.
or 98. I'm sorry,
Huh?
is when the first piece got to space. What kind of problems have they been having, and how is it still up there?
Well,
Yeah.
they've been adding to it, and because they keep launching more. It was like a really tiny piece when it first. I remember when they launched it because it was a big thing. What was the other one? Because we were on the Russian. There was one that was just straight Russian that we were all flying to a whole bunch, and I don't remember what it was called, like a Mauve or something like that. And then it fell to Earth in 2003 or something. Anyway,
Mm.
all right. Past the conspiracy theories, on to my random question to round out the day, and it's an easy one. It's not a catchy one, not a crazy one, just because thought it'd be just something nice because I kind of want to know. And here's the big deal on why I want to know. I've been on a diet for 2 weeks now. Well, almost 2 weeks. It's going pretty well. It's the keto diet for people that don't know, and it's a clean way to do keto, not like I'm eating bacon every day because bacon's keto friendly. No, it's not like that. Like legit. And up till this point, I haven't actually been hungry. Like everything's been fine. Got meal plans, prepping stuff. Everything's been good and golden. However, today I left the house in order to go somewhere to fix something for work. And
You cheated.
no, I didn't cheat. But while I'm driving, I'm smelling every single thing possible. And I'm just like, man, this stuff actually smells delicious, So what is your favorite fast food restaurant and why?
Easy. Andy, go ahead. Easy.
Favorite fast food.
Sounds like Ryan's got it. So Ryan, you go first.
Yeah.
Taco Bell. Yo quiero Taco Bell.
I also found out because somebody from where I was going over to let me know that nacho fries are back. And if you've never had nacho fries at Taco Bell, you are missing out on life.
Nacho fries, their new freaking cheesy gordita taco thingy majig, whatever. Like the limited time stuff. Taco Bell, I mean, go to McDonald's, go to Burger King. It's all like the same stuff. What other like fast food place is like Taco Bell?
Del Taco, and it's much better than Taco Bell. I'm gonna lie.
All right, never been there.
Yeah.
Anyways, Taco Bell is absolutely my favorite. Not only when I am sober, but also when I am not sober.
So the plan is, Ryan, sometime this month. I'm not gonna say between now and next week. Just try it at Del Taco. Try it at Del Taco. Don't get something crazy that you normally wouldn't get just because they have some crazy carne asada, ridiculously awesome looking burrito on the menu. Get like what you would normally get. If you get a normal burrito, get a burrito. If you get a taco, get a taco. You'll all of a sudden realize that, like, wait a minute. The lettuce doesn't taste like the cheese. The cheese doesn't taste like the beef. The beef doesn't taste like the shell like it does at Taco Bell. I'm not putting down Taco Bell because Taco Bell is still the shit. I'm just saying. Flavor-wise,
so is this going to be like the Twitch challenge or the not Twitch, the
Instagram.
TikTok challenge?
Yeah. Just try it. Just try it out.
Okay. All right. This is terrible because I'm trying to like not do that. Everybody has their New Year's resolutions. I don't really eat a whole lot of fast food, but that's
what I'm saying. It doesn't have between now and then. It's just like if you are, going to be like, all right, yeah, let's go grab something really quick. Try Del Taco.
Okay.
All right.
I will.
All right, Andy, did you figure out yours? And
Yeah.
does it have?
Taco Bell's definitely in my top three. Taco Bell.
Well, what's your top three?
Taco Bell, Chick-fil-A, and Whataburger.
Oh, see, man, I'm not on the Whataburger train. Not at all. Like there was one, actually, it's by this house too. By my old rental property that we went. Ryan, it's the one right next to AMF, the bowling alley. That is like the shittiest Whataburger ever. And like I ate there first, and it was so horrible that like it makes me never want to have it again. And I've had it again, and still just it was bad of an experience. But
yeah,
just not. I don't know. Just not digging it.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm a big. Oh my gosh, what's the other one?
So my big thing is like, what are you qualifying as a fast food restaurant? Okay. Because if you put a drive-through window at a crap ton more places, I would be driving my ass through a ton of different places, like way more than what I am now. Like if I could drive through Thai House, that'd be fast food
all day.
Which,
No,
by
no,
the
no.
way, I have ordered a million times since the COVID hit, Andy. Like, I've had Thai house, my house, a million times.
Fast
Jealous.
food is not something that you can call in and pre-order and go pick it up from a window. That's not fast food. Fast
Right.
food is straight up. You got a big ass menu on the outside of your drive-through that you just talk to somebody real quick and say, 1 second, please. Yeah, may I have what do you want? Cheese? Yeah, can I have cheese, please? No,
Whopper.
cheese. No, that is all that fast food right there. Anything you do that in, anything that has a
Whopper, no
big old
onion.
menu on the back, and anything you drive to one window, pay for it. Drive to the other window, pick up your food.
Dude, if you want to rant from me, I will rant about why are there 2 windows and you'd only use one now, and the damn line drives so slow. But anyway, all
I
right.
blame
So
Corona. Listen, also, while we're talking about Taco Bell, bring back the chili cheese burrito, okay? Hashtag BBCB.
I don't think I ever had that.
I don't think you should say BBC.
Oh, BBCB.
Okay, all right, yeah. Maybe you should restart that hashtag.
No, doing it. Okay, so I found my photo with my buddy. Okay, so this was back in like 2000 and I don't even know 9. So this is Bret Michaels and myself.
Oh, this is Andy. There we go.
Andy, you got to center it for the view. There you go.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Bret Michaels.
Bret Michaels
Buddy.
just looks like he's a freaking assassin.
Huge.
You
Man,
guys
with
look
the
like you're
hat
best
put
friends.
on.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, look how excited I am.
Look how young you look. That's what I'm
Okay.
focusing on.
Yeah, where's your beard?
So I did not want to lean next to him. That's like apprehension in my face. I'm like,
Do you have a little like thing here full of hair?
Yeah.
Nice.
That was cool.
It was 2009. It was a thing to
Did-
do.
Brett
Way to go,
Michael
T.
looks like he shops at the Buckle.
Still, and he's probably like 55.
Okay. All right. Appreciate that. What I'm gonna round up because I didn't get to answer the question. Okay.
Yes.
And I'm gonna give the 3. Okay, because Taco Bell's on the list. Because I feel like Taco Bell's one of those, like, if you can't decide, Taco Bell's always just like, okay, it's a go-to, and you're gonna be fine, right? You're not gonna get like, oh, this is bad, right? You go to McDonald's, you're gonna crap your guts out, so you know what you're gonna get there. But Taco Bell, Chick-fil-A definitely, because they have amazing milkshakes. Like, if you don't know about their milkshakes, you need to go get one of their milkshakes because I can't have one. Last one, and it's not necessarily number 3, but it's Jimmy John's. Okay, right? Jimmy John's is amazing.
No, they're gross.
For everybody who doesn't already have the app, get the app. Every time you make a purchase, they have rewards. Jimmy John's, if you want to sponsor this ad, I will absolutely take on that sponsorship because I love you guys. Hashtag Jimmy John's, JJ.
If you would like absolutely no discount at all, please use the coupon code Slightly Average Guys at checkout. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this week, and we hope that brings you some value, and we really appreciate you jumping in, listening to us this week, especially coming back in order to hear Andy's best friend, Bret Michaels,
That's right.
in a story. So
We're buddies.
we will be back next Wednesday for another live show and post again on Thursday. So see everybody next week.
See ya.
Peace.